Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and what a game of football we have just witnessed. Fluminense shocking Inter Milan and knocking them out of the Club World Cup as they win their game at 2-0 and they qualify for the quarterfinals of the Club World Cup. As you know, there have been a lot of criticism about the tournament from former managers, from the players, from a lot of fans about this competition, that there's too much football. And I get all of that. I agree that it is too much football for the players. They have to play consistently, and you could see that in some of the performances from Inter Milan today. But when you see the jubilation on the fans from Fluminense at the full-time scene, you sort of understand why these type of competitions are had. There is no chance in this world where we are going to see Fluminense and Inter Milan play in such a competitive level apart from a tournament like that. It just feels it is sort of like the World Cup, where you see upsets happening when smaller teams are coming out from South Asia, coming out from the Middle East, coming out from Africa, South America. Of course, South American football is quite big in terms of Brazil and Argentina, but you sort of get my point. In last World Cup, the story of Morocco or Saudi Arabia beating Argentina, all those type of games, we sort of remember that from the World Cup. And now this is the Club World Cup. And Fluminense beating Inter Milan. It's such a feel-good story. I don't think any neutral was supporting Inter Milan in that game. I was not supporting Inter Milan. Everybody wanted Fluminense, to go out and get the job done to make this tournament more interesting, and that's what they have done. They've been really good throughout the tournament, and today again, the way that they played against Inter Milan, it never, you wouldn't have guessed that Inter Milan were the finalists of the Champions League, and Fluminense are a team from Brazil. No disrespect to Fluminense or the Brazilian league, but of course the difference in the score, the difference in the competitiveness of the Brazilian league and the competitiveness of Serie A and the European leagues, it is quite different. We all know that. And then to see the way that Fluminense played, they go ahead and they take the lead early on in the third minute, courtesy of Cano. And after that, the way that they played, they were never, there was not a passage of the game where Fluminense were not in control. Inter Milan were the one, that were really struggling throughout the game. They were, every 50-50, every second ball, every first ball, every tackle, every single thing, Fluminense were on top. They were the, supposedly the main side who were, showing their aggression, who were, looking positive to do the things. Inter Milan just fell flat throughout that game, if I'm being very honest. They were always a couple of steps behind Fluminense in that entirety of that game. And it showed first half, and you could see the frustration coming out of the player. They really did not think that it was going to be hard work for them. They really did not think that they were going to have to put so much effort into this game. At the end of the first half, you could see really the frustration coming out from the Inter Milan players, and it kept on going that second half. And the more the game kept on going, the more the game was 1-0. The more Fluminense kept on gaining confidence. They started playing the football the way that they wanted to. They had so much possession in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the second half. They controlled the game with so much ease. Whenever Inter Milan tried to create any chances, they were on it. Thiago Silva, 40 years old, and the performance that he did, leading that Fluminense team, leading that defense. He was everywhere in that defense. What a performance from the captain. It was an amazing. Just again, there was a moment, where it was him and I forgot to play, and the way that Thiago Silva moved for a 40-year-old. I cannot remember the player, sorry, but you wouldn't believe that Thiago Silva was 40 years old. You would believe that he's like 20 years old, 22 years old, like that. The movement, the awareness, the positioning. Of course, Thiago Silva, we all know what type of a player he was. He's a legend of the game. But to do that at 40 years of age, he was simply sensational. Inter had a bit of momentum in the latter stages of the game. That's where they really picked up in the last 15 minutes of the game. They had 3 or 4 good chances. They hit the cross twice. Fabio made a couple of great saves in the end, but they were just not really able to break that Fluminense defense. They were not really able to get past Fabio. It was just it felt like it was not there. Just in the second time when DiMarco hit that crossbar, you just knew it was not there. And Hercules and going ahead and scoring at that goal, wonderful goal. Inter Milan had all their players trying to get that equalizer. Fluminense hit them on the counter attack, and I'll be very honest, they could have scored 2-3 goals before that goal as well, but it just was not happening for them, and it happened with Hercules. He scores that second goal. I mean, the tears on the faces of the fans you could see after that second goal. That, as I said, at the start of the video, that's why these type of tournaments, even though with all of those all that criticism that comes along with it, that is why these type of tournaments are special, because you get to see emotions like that. Of course, as I said before, we are not we might never see Inter play Fluminense again, maybe like after 4 or 8 years we might see it again. So a game like that, and with the way that they play, I mean, it was a really beautiful game to watch. And a bit Inter Milan, I mean, it has been a season of disappointment for them. I mean, they were on the verge of winning a treble. They ended up winning nothing. They did not win the Coppa Italia. They lost the final to PSG in the Champions League. They lost the league on the last day of the season against Napoli. And now then, with a new manager, Christian Chievo's first a hurdle as a manager being coming into the Club World Cup. And unfortunately, they have fallen short in the Club World Cup as well. So it has been a weird season for Inter Milan, to be very honest with you. They go out and now they would hope, they have a rest for about a month and a half. The players can go and they can sort of rest, and then they can come back for the new season. They would hope that next season is a much better, and it is not filled with heartbreaks, and they can maybe try to win something, because this has been a really hard season for them, physically as well as mentally. I mean, you are once you're on the verge of winning a treble, and then you can continuously keep on losing trophies one after the other. It takes a lot of mental toll, and at the end you could see all the faces of the Inter players. You in a way you felt sorry for them. Arturo Martin, I mean, the season that he had, I mean, so basically the entirety of that Inter squad, you look at them and you sort of felt sorry for them because of the way that the season has panned out. It was just not meant to be their season, and today again it was not meant to be their day. I mean, even the substitutions that Chivo did, I mean, the way they came in, and there was no energy left, in my opinion, in that Inter team. The substitute players came in, and even they did not lift up the team. And on the contrast, when the whatever substitution Fluminense made, they came in, and they automatically you just felt something, so sort of an excitement in the squad. They gave them a lift, and you could see the energy of the new players coming in, and I think that was the difference in that game. And as I said, they really in a way they played so smartly, and they played with such confidence that, in my opinion, Inter really did not expect Fluminense to come out with like that, and especially and when they scored that early goal. I mean, I think Inter they sort of got shocked, and they were never really able to recover from that. Unfortunately for Inter Milan, their stay in the Club World Cup ends, and huge congratulations to Fluminense. They qualify for the quarterfinals, and it will be interesting to see what happens in the quarterfinal. But for tonight, it is going to be a party in Charlotte. All the Brazilians are going to come in, and there's going to be a carnival, and they hugely deserve it. That's it from me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of Inter's performance, Fluminense's performance. Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 600 subscribers before the end of July, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.